Season 22 has been out for about 2 weeks now, and now is finally the time where I can comfortably say we know which legends are really good and really bad in this season. I hate seeing all the immediate season drop. Here's the top 10 legends in Apex when no one's even played 10 games yet. So I like to wait a little bit longer. We got about 2 weeks into the season, and I feel like we can definitively tell you which are the best legends for ranked right now, and it's blowing my mind because it's way different than ever before. This is mostly a ranked tier list with a little bit of ALGS sprinkled in there, and I'm heavily favoring E District, but I'm also including the maps Storm Point and Broken Moon. Let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into it right now, starting with our legends at the very bottom. Somehow, someway, Bloodhound and unfortunately Mirage are at the bottom of the pile. Let me start with the one you might be upset about first, which is Bloodhound. Bloodhound, unfortunately, is a good legend in a vacuum, but we don't play Apex in a vacuum anymore. There are so many other legends out there, and frankly, I can't see one good reason why you would pick Bloodhound instead of any of the other recon legends. His ultimate ability is essentially a speed boost black and white mode because all of the recon legends already have his threat vision just built in as a passive now. He can't see through bang smokes like he used to. His scan is nice, but you can get that scan with Seer or Crypto Drone even. Unfortunately, Bloodhound just isn't good at anything compared to the rest of his recon legends other than a speed boost. It's truly a shame, and it might be the biggest shock and biggest fall from grace of any legend in a long time. Mirage's case is much simpler. Unfortunately, with this new health bar addition in the game where you shoot an enemy and the health pops up above them, Mirage decoys don't have the health bar, and the real Mirage does. So I don't think I need to explain why that's really bad for Mirage. C tier is the first big chunk of legends that I have, and this includes Rampart, Loba, Wraith, Ballistic, Octane, and Valkyrie. These legends are not ranked from left to right. Starting with Rampart, she's just, unfortunately, the worst of all the controller legends, and I do believe that each controller legend in this list is a true step up from the previous, especially on E District. Rampart just isn't valuable, frankly. There's always good to have some walls and some amped cover, but frankly, you don't really need any walls when every single square inch of E District is just chocked full of buildings. So when there's so many walls and buildings in the area on E District especially, you really don't need Rampart at all. Loba is up next in C tier, and you can tell that I am being objective in this list because I have put my own name down at C tier. Unfortunately, if this were a solo queue ranked list only, she'd be super high up there because it's great to have movement and be able to craft banners for your team, but it's not. And the best part of her kit is that she has some movement and you can craft banners. Otherwise, it's just loot. And loot is great until you make it to zone 3 and everyone spawns in a bunch of gold bins and you've got a billion good attachments. Frankly, at this point, she's just like Pathfinder. It's kind of what she is. She's more limited Pathfinder. She's a good movement aggressive legend to go fight people, but she doesn't have any game-breaking abilities, nothing super incredibly useful. Frankly, the best part about her is the ability to craft banners, but you have that on other legends as well. I still play her a lot. It's worth playing her, but she's not broken like I wish she was. Wraith is simply just Wraith. She's still cool, she's still pretty fast, and looks like you're going a million miles an hour because she's super short, like 4'3", but she is an initiator, and there's just a lot of other initiators that are much better at that job. Now, if Wraith had her instant phase back, I might reconsider, but right now, she's a C tier initiator. When you look at the others at the top of the list, you'll understand. Wraith just doesn't compare right now, and that's okay. Ballistic is nice, he got a couple buffs, but like Rampart, those buffs don't amount to too much because he doesn't have anything that's very game-breaking at all like some of the legends above him. He's really good at making the vanilla gameplay of shooting and reloading and having ammo better, but that's really it. Octane is a true pub star, but when you really need someone on your team that can have a set of abilities that's really useful and beneficial in many different scenarios like Bangalore, you look at Octane and you think, wow, buddy, you just kind of lose HP when you run faster, and we have a jump pad that everyone can shoot you off of in Season 22. You've been out for 21 seasons, bud. It's easy to shoot off jump pads. Valkyrie is last in C tier. She is nice to play with all these multi-level buildings in E District, and we all know how frustrating it can be to try and fight a Valkyrie when it keeps flying up and down and flying away. But the passive being really good is pretty much about where she stops. She's been replaced by an evac tower, a survival item when it comes to her ultimate, and her missiles just aren't nearly as good of a damage and damage stun option as many other weapons and abilities in this game. So frankly, Valkyrie, you're just a pair of jetpacks, and that's about it. Moving up to B tier, we have Catalyst, Vantage, Ashe, Alter, Seer, and Gibraltar. Legends that are pretty solid, but they all have a yeah, but part to them. I still believe Catalyst is one of the most well-rounded controllers in the game. The fact that she can be good on offense and good to help your team rotate with that Dark Veil wall is really, really nice. The big but about her is that she just keeps getting nerfed. She's been really, really well-rounded for a long time, but now you kind of have to pick. Do I want to have more traps? Do I want to throw them far? Do I need to have a longer wall or a longer lasting wall? If all of these things were still a part of her base kit, she'd probably be A or S tier, but it's not. You're kind of having to pick one or the other option, and because of that, you really need both, so I think she's just a step below Wattson and Caustic, which is why I have her down here in B tier. Vantage is a really, really interesting case because I could make the argument Vantage is the single best character in the game right now in rings 1, 2, maybe 3. But as soon as people start getting purple shields and as soon as that ring starts getting smaller, she immediately becomes one of the worst legends in the game. She is fantastic in an open field. She's fantastic in a fight where she can move and use her sniper and really get 2-shot knocks on blue and white shields. It's amazing. But once that time of the game is over and it gets to the ring being pretty small and it's really down to winning time, she's just not useful anymore. So because she's amazing at the start and really bad at the end, I feel like putting her in the dead middle at B tier is fair. Ashe is a little bit of a riser for me. Recently, I've been watching a lot of Zeratricky and some other talented Apex players play Ashe, and I really do feel like I was underrating her as a duelist. I would try to imagine what is she good for on the team, and her team utility is okay with her passive being able to know where, the people that killed the death box went. Like, I guess that's fine. But really, it comes down to her ability to snare multiple people now with these purple perks she has, where she can either have 2 arc snares or 1 that snares multiple people. She's a great duelist. She's good to eliminate a threat, and if you're a good 1v1 character, you're probably going to be pretty solid in a team. So with that portal adding just a tiny bit of team mobility, I think Ashe is comfortably in the B tier. Not much higher, but not much lower. I also have Alter in B tier. This is another legend I considered maybe moving up towards A because she is a really interesting initiator. It's really hard to hold a building when an Alter is pushing you because you don't just have to guard the windows and guard the doorways, but instead you also have to guard the ceiling. You got to guard the floor. She can come from anywhere, and that makes her really, really useful. The only downside is she's just not as good of an initiator as some of the people above her on the list. Her team mobility is nice. It's kind of just like a reset checkpoint, which is really good if you get knocked or if you just need to make a quick getaway for someone that's maybe you're respawning. So you throw her ult down far away and then respawn and that person takes the portal right away. But that's kind of it. She's a really solid legend. She doesn't do anything amazing, which is why she's a B tier, but she's a solid legend. Seer is such an interesting phenomenon because he went from unbelievably busted and broken upon release to really broken but nobody knew once they nerfed him the first time. All of a sudden, we started playing him again and found out, wow, he's still broken as heck. And then they uber nerfed him, made him super bad. Then all of a sudden, he got pretty good again, and now he's bad again. And then now the Bloodhound's pretty poor. I think Seer is right in the middle. I think he's right about where he should be. He's good at recon. That's it. He's not great at recon. He's not great at fighting, but he's good at just about everything. He's about as mid as a legend can be, in my opinion. Finally, we have Gibraltar. I think Gibraltar's bubble is S tier. It's amazing. I think Gibraltar's gun shield is really, really strong. It's fantastic to be able to have that extra protection. I think his bombardment is excellent for getting big damage on a small area or really preventing someone getting a revive. It's a great get off this area tool. Only problem with Gibraltar, he's freaking huge. He's just way too big. And unfortunately, shotguns are back in the meta, which is good for him, but it's the Mozambiques and the Eva 8s that are really shining. Now, the Mastiffs are really good too, don't get me wrong. A Gibby with a Mastiff is a horrifying sight. But we're still kind of in an era of Gibby just being so giant, and with all these dual Mozambiques running around, he gets shredded pretty quickly. Couple that with the fact that other people can now have their own gun shield with LMGs, and it kind of feels like he's just a middle-of-the-road, really good general abilities character, but he's just too darn big. Up next in A tier, I have Wattson, Maggie, Horizon, Newcastle, and Fuse. Now, while this isn't ranked left to right, Wattson is first place in this tier, and I'll explain why. Wattson is the best pure defender in this entire game right now. Her fences are amazing if you happen to get a stun, but really the star of the show is that energized pylon. The fact that it now has perks where it'll recharge your shield super fast or essentially infinitely is amazing. She is an amazing legend. She's all over the place in ALGS right now. The only reason I have her in A tier is because this is specifically a ranked tier list. This is not just ALGS comp, this is ranked, and in ALGS ranked, you need to be going out there and getting some kills. She doesn't thrive at that. There's no one better than her at locking down a spot, resetting your team in a certain area, making sure you're all safe, but that's not really the goal of ranked. Unfortunately, in ranked, you have to get some kills. Just getting the win isn't enough. So while in ALGS, I would say pick Wattson every day, she's only going to be A tier because she doesn't really provide any offensive utility for your squad. Maggie and Horizon, I'm going to lump them together. These, in my opinion, are the two best initiators in the game, other than one really obvious example that'll come later. The Maggie drill and the Maggie ball is just a pure hold forward move and ability set that's just incredible. If you need to knock someone off some cover, you can do it via flaming drill that's piercing through their cover, or a wrecking ball is going to knock them out from behind cover. She is amazing at getting people off their cover. Horizon, similarly, she is essentially a free battery. If you shoot Horizon and crack her, she's gonna throw her Q at her feet, she's gonna pop a battery, and unless you're a really good player, she's probably getting that heal off. Her ultimate is still really, really strong. It's on a super high cooldown right now, but if you throw that ultimate and you have an Arc Star, and the other team doesn't break your ult, you're getting a shield crack, and you're probably winning the fight. It's just that simple. Newcastle is next. I think he is great to have if you are going to be pushing hard and pushing on some low health because he is an incredible reviver. I think that Newcastle is probably the safest revive in the game, while Lifeline, and spoiler alert, she's not in this tier yet, is a little bit better at reviving an entire squad because of that hands-free revive. If you are getting rezzed by a Newcastle, you're probably getting picked up. Between his knockdown shield cover you and the mobile shield that he can direct and block bullets with, it is a automatic res for at least one person on your team, and that's why I think Newcastle's really, really solid. Couple that with the fact that the Mastiff is super strong right now, and I think he's the best shotgun user in the game. This is why I've got Newcastle up here in A tier. Speaking of legends extremely good at one thing, finally we have Fuse in A tier, and look, if you have a group of people in a building, there is no one I would rather have on my team than Fuse. You can just launch 2 knuckle clusters in there, 6 frag grenades, 7 arc stars, 3 thermites. You just throw it all in there and you're going to see all your opponents scurry out like rats. He is incredible. He's good at getting thirst as well. You simply knuckle cluster a knocked enemy. It's going to take a lot of health off of them. The ult scans people that are trapped inside it. He's just a great offensive legend. A little bit different than Horizon and Maggie, but he is the best at what he does. Finally, in S tier, of course, we have Revenant, Pathfinder, Bangalore, Caustic, Crypto, Lifeline, and Conduit. This tier is actually in order, so let's start at the end and go to the top with Conduit. Conduit sneaks into my S tier because, frankly, I think we've just forgotten how powerful her abilities are. The ability to be a super active support legend and be able to fight along with your squad while healing them and yourself simultaneously is really, really slept on. We all recognized that when Conduit was paired with Revenant because that was just an overpowered combination, but frankly, I think we've forgotten about how strong it is. Her tactical is a true fight saver and fight winner. I think she might be the best legend to have in a contest off of the drop. In a very short amount of time, Conduit became slept on, and I'm really not sure why. Next, we have Lifeline, the true revive queen, as she should be, mind you, but I just think that Lifeline is almost maybe too strong once she gets a gold knockdown in her hands. There is no legend that's more scary to fight against than a Lifeline when you see you've knocked the other two and Lifeline's the last one standing. Because you know, you can't just fight the Lifeline. You have to make sure the Lifeline doesn't tap the other two and revive them with 50 shield and 75 HP in 4 seconds flat. She is amazing if you are on the back foot, if someone gets knocked quickly, if you play with someone that maybe throws and likes to die pretty fast. Lifeline is an absolute must pick. She's great. She can call in her own gold knockdown, and that's really where the power jump comes. She's okay when you're on a purple knockdown, but as soon as you get that gold res, she is outstanding. Next, I am shocked that we live in a world that Crypto is an S tier legend, but he truly is, and let me explain exactly why. First, he has a new purple perk. This is probably the most important, where you are able to get a scan on your opponents once you hit them with the EMP, whether your drone sees them or not. This alone immediately makes Crypto a legend that you can play and not have the best comms with. Crypto used to be a really good legend on paper, but you had to be a super coordinated team and know exactly how and when and where to push off of Crypto EMP, but this perk changes all of that. Now, all you have to do is EMP, and whether your drone can see them or not, the enemies will be scanned through the walls, and your teammates know exactly who to pounce on. That takes all of the teamwork and coordination out of it, and makes Crypto really, really beginner-free. I mean, it makes it really, really beginners-friendly, in my opinion. I don't even know what phrase I'm using. I think Crypto hacked my speech. His other new perk, Off the Grid, simply makes it where he is cloaked while he is in his drone, and guys, he is really cloaked. Like, he is almost completely invisible. This allows you to just be a maniac and run out in the middle of the street, throw your drone, EMP, and then run in. You don't have to worry about hiding far away in cover anymore. You just throw it out there. No one's gonna see you. Caustic is number 4 on my list. Now, he would probably switch places with Wattson if this were an ALGS list, but it's not. It's specifically for the ranked playlist, and Caustic simply gets you more kills than Wattson does. He is great on playing defense. No one wants to push a Caustic and have to deal with healing their shields and their health because they got hit for 50 by a gun, but got hit by another 25 by the gas, so no one wants to deal with that. But that gas grenade is really, really big when you pick that purple perk to expand the radius of the gas cloud. He's great at getting a lot more kills, and that's what's important in ranked. Not to mention the new controller legend perk where you get 25 extra shield in the ring is amazing with Caustic because he's already fortified, so he becomes a true raid boss inside the middle rings in those situations. Number 3 is Bangalore. She remains, to this day, the single most well-rounded legend that Apex has ever created. You need some defense? Okay, smoke your own feet or smoke right in front of you, block line of sight, pop your heal, and throw your ultimate to dissuade people from pushing you. Oh, you want to play offense? Smoke their feet or smoke their line of sight so you can run up and then throw your ultimate so it'll explode and force them into buildings or to take damage, and then you follow up after it. It's the same gameplay both ways, but all of her abilities are great for offense and defense. She's incredibly well-rounded, and I think she always will be. Pathfinder is number 2, and Pathfinder is currently the most picked legend in ranked at the Master and Predator level. Now, there's 2 reasons for this. 1, he's a free to unlock character, and the cheaters like playing him. But 2, he has unparalleled movement, and if you are a very strong player, you can make the absolute most out of Pathfinder. This, plus his abilities to scan care packages to get a faster zipline cooldown. His perks are really nice. He's able to scan either beacon, either the people beacon or the ring console. Take your pick. He's just a great legend. Welcome on any team. You're never going to be upset if one of your teammates picks Pathfinder because you know you've got a good one. And yeah, Revenant's first. If you want to strap some Saturn V rockets on the back of a school bus and launch it through an opponent's skull, that's what Revenant is. Friggin' 300 HP tank with fast movement that can leap onto opponents. Has a little X-ray through walls nonsense when he gets you below 40 health. His shield regens when he knocks you. Now he can run around and slide with a freaking light machine gun shield generator, so he has an extra 30 HP. I don't know, man. Nerf this character. Nerf this character. Revenant's too good. He's busted. He's broken. He sucks. I hate it. I hate it. Get rid of him. That's my rant. He's the best character in the game, but you already do that. That's the whole list. Here it is on the screen to let you guys know that I am completely objective. I did put my main down in C tier because I believe it's the case, and I think I had a couple hot takes. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I would appreciate any of your constructive criticism or just hate comments, to be fair. Boost that algorithm. Thank you for watching. See you later.